Very good afternoon. In this session, I'm going to show the demonstration on continuous integration and continuous deployment process. Before we move on to the DevOps, I'd like to show you the difference between waterfall and agile model. So in the waterfall model, we'll do the designing, then coding, testing, and deployment. Okay. So in agile model, what we will do is after the designing, we will do for code and testing. Again, we will continuously do code testing till the completion of the right project. Finally, we will do the deployment. In DevOps, we will do the designing. After that, coding, testing, and deployment phase recursively done. So it is like a phase by phase or module by module, the deployment will happen. So let us do all these practical in our AWS management console. And for doing this, we are following this flow. First one, we'll create a code commit, then build and deployment. Finally, we will integrate all code commit, build and deployment with the help of this pipeline. So these are the mandatory requirement, that is you need a Git bash and AWS management console. So I'm requesting all to do with the AP South Mumbai region. So let us do the first step. So we have to create a code commit repository. Before doing this, for pushing any local files, I need one IAM Git credential. So we will create that credential first, then we will go for the code commit. All of you can log into AWS Management Console and go to the service called IAM. There go to users and create a new user. I'm just creating with the user 1. Click on next, attach the policies. Now take the administrative policy as full access, that is administrator rights. Then click on next and create a user. Once the user gets created, now I want to click on the user and go to this security credential and come down. You can find an option called https git credential for code commit. Now click on generate credential. Now you see that there is a credential generated. Download these credentials. Okay. Now download the credential. So after that, just duplicate this tab. I am just moving into code commit. Now I want to create one empty directory. Now click on this create directory, create repository with the name repo1. Now create a repository. Now repository gets created. Now click on this clone URL and click on this clone HTTPS. Now take a notepad file and copy this repository link. Okay, so that's it. Now what I can do is I want to push my codes from local machine to this code repository, not directly into the code repository. So what I can do is I can take any one of the directory where I can create one folder called CACD. Okay, so now take this path d:/CACD cmd, enter cmd. So it will be navigated to your command prompt. First command is git space clone space the URL what you have copied. Just take the URL what you have copied in the previous step and enter. Okay, so it is giving fatal error. Why? Because for my case I already executed this command. This credential were already recorded. So what I'm doing, Windows Credential Manager. I'm just to go to Windows Credential Manager. If you are doing this exercise for the first time, this step is not mandatory. Okay. If you have already done these credentials already saved, so I need to remove this credential. Yes, I have removed. Now again I'm running this command. Let's see. Now it is asking me to keep the username and the password. You see, it is asking for the username and the password. Now let's go into my users and take this username and copy the password. Give this password, continue. Okay, now you check it out. It is showing that you have created one empty repository. So there is a repo 1 which is generated. Okay, now what I should do is I just want to log in into this repository, that is repo 1. So the command is that cd space repo1. Now I want to keep all my folders files into repo1. So what I'm doing, I want to copy all my folders into repo1. So I already have my files in desktop. Whoever want this file, I already have this have a git repository. This is my repository link. You can copy and you can download and paste all these contents in your repository. And now just copy all the files and folders and keep all these files and folders into repo1. Okay, so now let's move on to this repo1, cacd repo1. The first command is to check the status. Check the git status. It is showing all red, which means that it is not yet committed. I want to add all file for the commit. So command is git space add space dot. Now again check the git status. It is showing it as all green. Now we need to create a commit repository. You can commit a repository. Command is git space commit space -m space version 1. Enter. Now everything gets committed. Now it is time to push your code to your AWS code commit. The command is just git followed by push. Enter. So now what will happen? All the files now move to your git repository. Now go to your repository, click on this repository. There is a repo1 now clone and you can see all the files. So here most important file is build spec file, another one is app spec file. The index.html is the one which you want to do the deployment. Okay, build spec file mean the supporting files for doing the build operation. App spec file for supporting file for the deployment process. So we have completed the step number 1. Now we'll go for the step number 2, that is build process. And before doing this build, I would like to do one more thing, that is I need one IAM role. This time AWS code build admin access role I should create. Again, you just go to your user, create another role, create a role where the trusted entity is AWS service. Use cases code build. Click on code build, click on next, and take a service called code build, this one, AWS code build admin access. Click on next, create a role called, I just take it as a build role. Okay, I'm just keeping the name as a build role. Create a role. Okay, now role created. The reason for using role is that you need to integrate your code commit as well as code build. For the temporary authentication purpose, we need a IAM role. We have created the IAM role. Now the next step is that you need to do this code build or testing process. So what I'm doing, I'm just duplicating this tab one more time, and where I'm taking code build. Okay, code build. It's okay, I want to create a new project. Now I just make the build as a build 2. I'm just creating or build 1 2 3. I'm creating with the name build 1 2 3. Okay, and our source provider is the AWS code commit. Repository is the repo1, and the branch is the master branch. Now keep all the environment settings as such, and here operating system Linux, runtime standard, images you can take it as the standard 5.0, and image version you can keep as such. Okay, so here it will ask you to create a new service role or existing service role. We just now created a role with the code build. So what I can do is I can select the existing service role and choose the ARN. Okay, this one build role I just now created. Okay, click on open this and select this build role. Okay, and another important thing is that in the build spec file we already uploaded, so you can use build spec file. Okay, now click on create build project. Okay, so now there is a place where you can start the build. Click on start build. So now the status is in progress. See that if you click on the phase details, it is succeeded, but all other things are error it's coming. Once again doing the rebuild, I just do rebuild again. Let's see if you are getting error. Please do the rebuild, and now go to your phase details, download source provisioning, queuing submitted. You will get succeeded. Yes, I am getting the succeed message. It's fine now. See, everything is successfully done. Okay, so now the two steps we have completed. Now we go for the third step, that is the code deploy. So before we are doing the deployment, we need another IAM role. Okay, so the another two roles are important. Code deploy role, another one is S3 full access role. We need two roles, and also I need to create one EC2 machine, and I should deploy the code agent, then only I can do the deployment. This is the next procedure. First we will do the uh, code deploy and S3 full access role creation. Let me go into the IAM role again. We will create one more role called by selecting the trusted entity as AWS service. Now use case is the code deploy. Code deploy, and click on next. By default there is a deploy role is selected. Click on next. Keep the role name as deploy 1. Okay, now you can create a role. And another important thing is I want to create one more role called S3 full access role. So here the trusted entity is the AWS service. Use case is EC2. Use case should be EC2 here. Click on next, and here S3 full access role. Select S3 full access. Next, the role is S3 full 123. You can keep any name here. I am keeping it as S3 full 123. Create a role. So that's it. We have created two roles, deploy role and S3 full access role. Now I want to do the deployment in EC2 machine. So you please remember two steps. One is you need to attach the S3 full access role. Another one is you need to deploy the code deploy agent. Okay, so for doing this, again I am just duplicating this tab to open your EC2 uh, EC2 open EC2. Click on the instances, and you want to launch an instance. Click on launch instance. You just keep the name for the machine as machine 1, and click on browse more AMI. Select your AMI. Free tier version, please select. The instance type T2.micro. Keeper is not required. And instance settings you can choose by default, and click on the existing security group, and please ensure that you are selecting default, and your default security group must accept all traffic. It is mandatory. Please check it before doing the code deployment agent, before installing code deployment agent. Now your storage is 8 GB only, and another very important thing is that you need to attach the role. How you can attach mean, click on this advanced details, and where we should go for instant profile, select the instant profile, and here whatever the role which we have created, that is displaying S3 full 123. So this role select, then only you can do the launch instance. So now you see that the instance is launching. Refresh and you can see the instance ID. Okay. So now what I should do is very important thing, which we already said, the security group. Click on the security and ensure that the security group is containing all traffic or not. click on EC2 episode, just open into the security group and check these inbound roles. It should contain IPv4 and all traffic. Suppose if you don't have this IPv4 and all traffic, click on the edit roles to modify. How you can edit mean, I will try to show you. Click on add role, where you can select all traffic and sources IPv4 and save the role. Okay, so now you can save this role. Now the roles get saved as IPv4 and all traffic. Now what you can do is, now what you can do is, you need to install the security agent, that is this one. Code deploy agent should be installed. So click on this connect and click on this connect again. So it will open a command line interface where you can install your code deploy agent. So these commands I have given, just to copy paste the commands one by one. First command is em install. This is OS update operation. Second step is to install Ruby, and okay, next step is to install your code deploy agent. Just copy paste the commands. And code install auto, and the last command is that sudo service code deployment agent status. Okay, so now after the last command, you can see that there is a PID number it will show. So if it is shows, now the installation is perfect, which means the code deploy agent is successfully started. Okay, so now we can directly go for the next step. The next step is that we need to do the code deployment. How we can do the code deployment means, just to open the service called code deploy. Okay, just to open the code deploy, and in the application I want to create a new application. That is yes, I want to create a new application by clicking create application. Application name is code deploy 123. I just make it as a code deploy 123. Compute platform is EC2 or on premises. Create application. Okay, so it's invalid. Why? Because you do not give any space here. Create an application. Once the application gets deployed, click on the deployment group. You immediately create a deployment group. So deployment group, you can give the name for the deployment group as group 1. Okay, and the service role is what we have created in the step number 3 as a deploy 1. Choose a deployment type is replace deployment. In the environment configuration, choose the environment configuration as EC2 Amazon EC2 instance. Select the key as a name, whereas value is the machine 1. So this is most important because I'm going to do the deployment in the machine 1 only. Okay, so finally the remaining things are as such. For this you no need of load balancer. Please uncheck and create a deployment group. Okay, now we have completed code commit, build, as well as the deploy also completed. The final step is that you need to do the pipeline. So for doing pipeline, just open the service called pipeline. What this pipeline will do is, which will integrate code commit, code build, and code deploy. Okay, so I just create a new pipeline with the name pipeline 123. Okay, so here no need to choose any role. By default you are getting the roles. Come down, click on next. So first add the source. Source provided as the AWS code commit. A repository name as repo1. Branch is the master branch and click on next. Next the build stage. Choose the build provided as the AWS code build where you can choose the project name as build 123 as our project name. Then click on next. Then deploy provider. Choose the deploy provider as the AWS code deploy where application name is code deploy 123 and deployment group is group 1. Click on next. Now we have integrated your source, build, deploy. All the stages we have integrated. And finally you can create a deployment, that is create a pipeline. So now what happens, the it will start executing the code commit followed by the build followed by the deployment process. Now let's see. Now your code commit is started executing. If it is success, you will get a green tick mark. Yes, it is correct. Next build is happening. If the build is successful, it will show the tick mark followed by the code deploy. Let's see. We have to wait for some time. Okay, build also successful. You are getting a green signal. Now the final stage is a deployment stage. If you are done everything perfect, you can see there is a green tick mark. Let's wait for 1 minute time. It will take 1 minute time. Yes, everything is done. Code commit success, build success, and deployment also success. Okay, what I am doing for verifying the output, go to your EC2 instance and just close and take your public IPv4 address and paste it. Okay, now you can see that there is a website now deployed. So this is how you can do the deployment. Okay, so now I will show you how the continuous integration process runs. Continuous integration means if you are doing any small modification in the source code, automatically your pipeline will take care of this triggering. Okay, let's see. For example, so in this application, I am just doing one small modification in the node in the file. So here, this is the display page now. Uh, I'll take so okay, so in this line, okay, welcome to DevOps with AWS V5. So here I am adding one line that is KL University. I'm just adding, okay, and I am saving this file. I just saved this file. Okay, just to close it. What I am doing, just again check the git status and enter. Let's see, one file just now modified. You want to commit, and the code is git space add space dot. Okay, just added. Again check the git status. Yes, now it is green. We can do the version number 2 now. Git space commit space -m space version 2. Okay, just version 2 is now created. Now whichever the file modified, that file alone which will push to the code commit. Let's see, git push. Okay, now what will happen, the file whatever which is modified, that file alone which will push to the code commit. Now there is a changes we are done. Now let's check your code pipeline. Now you see the code pipeline, you see again it is started to rebuild. That is, again it will execute the code commit. Again it will test your code build, then deployment will happen. So that continuously integration is happening. Whatever small modification you have done with the code commit, immediately you can see there is a update will happen. Now you see that after the completion, again, if you are testing with this IPv4 address, then you can able to get the new deployment. And now it is not reached. Why? Because still it is deploying. Let's see the deployment. Okay, now successfully done. Again, go to your take your public IPv4 address of your EC2 instance and let's see. Yeah, otherwise I'll close and take the IPv4 again. Okay, now you see that there is a thing which is updated. KL University is now updated. Okay, so this is how you can perform continuous integration and continuous deployment. Thank you.